The Akizuki is a tier 8 Japanese destroyer that completely relies on an experienced captain to be competitive. Without the right build, her HE is so weak it will not even be able to penetrate equal tier underage ships. It is because of this that building your captain correctly for the Akizuki is so critical to the performance she will be able to grant you in battle. However, if you build her correctly, the Akizuki will absolutely beat the ever-living shit out of any underage ship that is foolish enough to get close. The number one most important thing is inertia fuse high explosive, a skill that will enable your HE to actually penetrate ships and do damage. Without the IFHE captain skill you will be forced to rely on armor-piercing rounds and broadsides to do any form of damage, even against destroyers. Akizuki's HE rounds really are that terrible without the IFHE skill, which is why it is an absolutely mandatory skill for this ship. The first skill you need is preventative maintenance. This skill is going to reduce the chances of your turrets getting knocked out, which is very important in close quarters fighting. The second skill you need is last stand. This skill is going to make your rudder and engine still work when knocked out, which is very important in a destroyer this large, slow and unmaneuverable. The third skill is demolition expert, so you can farm those fires and battleship tiers. Demolition expert is important as it will boost your damage using HE shells in the form of fires until you get the IFHE skill. The fourth skill you need is AFT. But what about IFHE? Is what you're probably wondering. Well, the Akizuki's upgraded range of 10 kilometers is absolutely awful, so that upgraded range is more important. Finally, at your fifth skill you get the godsend skill, IFHE. Now you can bully underage ships and spam away at battleships while doing HE damage and setting fires thanks to the demolition expert you trained earlier. For your sixth and final real skill you get concealment expert. This will help hide your booty, which is very important on the Akizuki because she will not be able to outrun almost anything that's not a battleship past tier 8. This leaves you with 1 point left, which I would probably put on this final and somewhat limited use skill. But what about upgrades? Well, the first upgrade you need is Main Armament Modification 1. This is going to increase your turret HP and keep them alive, so you can shoot things more. It also stacks with the preventative maintenance skill and helps prevent your turrets from getting knocked out. The second upgrade should be Anti-Air Guns Modification 2. The Akizuki already has sniper-like accuracy on its main guns, so Aiming Systems Modification 1 is worthless. And because her turrets actually turn, unlike other IJN destroyers, Main Battery Modification 2 is also worthless. The third upgrade should unquestionably be Propulsion Modification 1. Once again, having your engine knocked out in any destroyer sucks. But in the Akizuki a knocked out engine is a certificate of death. So you want it turning her props as often as possible. Steering Gears Modification 2 is the best choice for the fourth upgrade. Because Akizuki is so big, sitting in smoke is just asking to be torpedoed or radared by enemy ships. The ability to turn sooner is very important, because you will be dodging torpedoes more often than you think, even if you're not in a smoke screen. Propulsion is bad, because you should almost never stop moving an Akizuki, so increased acceleration is not very important. For your fifth upgrade, Concealment System Modification 1 is undoubtedly the best choice. When stacked with the concealment expert you trained on her captain and a camouflage, Akizuki gets detected at 5.9 kilometers when not firing, and 8.9 kilometers while firing. Working in the AFT skill into this, she has a total stealth firing safety zone of 3.3 kilometers, which is just ridiculous. The Akizuki's gameplay revolves around shooting your guns as much as possible, since the damage and fires they set will be your primary means of doing damage to the enemy team. The Akizuki does get a torpedo reload booster, but because of the long cooldown you should save it for situations where your torpedoes are most likely to strike enemy ships. While she is stealthy and great at killing destroyers, her large size, slow speed, and bad maneuverability make her very poor for contesting cap points. You will need other destroyers and ships to help you if you are on a contested point. As it has been said before, the highlight of the Akizuki is her gun performance. They will mortally wound, if not outright kill destroyers in a few salvos from close to medium range. The rate of fire and shell arc of the guns is fantastic as well. This ability is not unique. USN destroyers can dispose of enemy destroyers from close range too, and they are much better suited for contesting capture points. You use your torpedo reload booster in situations when your torpedoes are most likely to hit, since Akizuki's torpedoes are quite good and the only thing holding them back is her single launcher. But the real power of the Akizuki is her ability to wage psychological warfare against 85% of battleship players. You use your Akizuki like a shepherd, shooting the most threatening battleship to your team with a constant rain of HE rounds and fires. Even though the battleship can fully heal fire damage, and your HE shells don't do much damage to start with, a good amount of battleships will either turn around and run away, or start slamming their S key, and try to reverse away from your fire. But because you have a skilled captain, you are able to keep up the barrage of HE rounds on them. Some battleships will even throw a tantrum and smash their keyboard in chat, or try and hit a ship which is moving, and they cannot see, which is quite entertaining.
Ha! Got him! Ha! Got him!
That's all there really is to the Akizuki in terms of how to play her. Stay at medium to longer ranges, and whittle down the enemy with your guns. But do not be afraid to go on to capture points and beat up underage ships, as long as you have support and, hopefully, some cover on the point with you. Stay with your fleet and focus on enemies with them, while sailing a bit in front of the main force in a place where you can help screen for incoming torpedoes. Basically play a destroyer the way they were used in history. If you set a target on fire, switch targets and set someone else on fire. By the time the second guy is on fire, check the first to see if he repaired, and if he has, try and set him on fire again. If the enemy gives you enough broadside, load AP, and do even more damage. Whenever you can fire AP at a broadside enemy, fire AP at a broadside enemy. The damage AP outputs is far greater than the damage HE outputs, although you won't be setting fires. I always see people uphold the Akizuki AA as some miracle from the heavens, but really it is not that great. Her AA is strong for a destroyer, sure, but she does not get the defensive AA fire consumable, which she desperately needs. Even if her AA is strong, Akizuki is big and slow, and a dedicated carrier attack will leave her either dead or nearly dead. You hope that the carrier is not targeting you, but the big juicy hit points behind you. If the carrier is going for you, and you have no support, I wish you the best of luck, because dodging torpedoes in this cruiser size 32 knot destroyer is a real challenge. Well, that's all there is to say. Try to stay undetected. Stay in front of your fleet. Screen for torpedoes. Beat up underage ships if the opportunity arises. Push capture points if you have support. Spread your HE fire around. Don't rely on your AA to protect you from planes. Do not contest a point alone. Thank you for watching my how to insert ship here copy video. Now go pad your DD stats with one of the most rewarding gunboats in the game.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?